I'm Ivan, the co-founder of Finmap Online. That's the biggest cash flow management tool in the Eastern Europe. We have more than 60 teammates, and we are growing this year, even besides the war. So my co-founder and all the team members doing a great job, just incredible job. That really inspires me to do my job even better and better.
But tomorrow you're going to the zero line.
Yep. So I'm actually serial IT entrepreneur. Founded several startups. Have one exit. Had a family, one dog. Just about to build my own house. Actually, on the 24th of February, it had to become. I mean, like the construction part. So that was the plan. So how it was actually in the early morning of the 24th of the February, I woke up from some explosions near my house in Kiev. We came to the house of my father near the Kiev, and during the day we decided to move even further to the western part of Ukraine to evacuate all of our family members and to help our team members to be evacuated as well. So that was our like first days. We're not actually mentally prepared for the war, and was like, whoa, Russians have to stop somewhere and go back because that's unreal. What is happening now could not happen. Like we could not understand what's really happening. You know, at that time I had two different feelings. Firstly, I'm absolutely not a military guy. A couple of months before the war started, the full invasion started, my co-founder asked me to join him in some tactic medical trainings and how to use personal weapon trainings. And I was like, okay, tactical medical trainings may be useful, but personal weapon, seriously, and me, that's a cold steel, a lot of noise. A lot of like anger and violence. I don't like this stuff. So I didn't think I could be useful in the armed forces. But the opposite part of me was to anger. Like when you read those news every day, what are they doing on our territory, with our people, with our land, with our homes? I was so angry, so I really wanted to be mobilized. And this internal conflict was too hard for me.
And who were the people around you, also who have been conscripted? Who are these people? Who is fighting for Ukraine right now?
You have to understand that we as Ukraine, had to increase our amount of our troops, amount of our soldiers, like several times. That means that everybody who's physically good enough to take weapon have to be mobilized. I mean, that could be almost anyone. And my unit was more than 500 people. All of them was mobilized like me. Absolutely different kind of people. For example, there were developers, one junior and one middle. There was director from the theater. There was an actor. This guy, 1 month ago, directing some play in the theater. And now he's one of the bravest guy with the machine gun on the position on the zero line. My main work is to maintain the moral state of our soldiers. And that's absolutely not the same to like take care of your business people. That's very rude work, a bit violent, and but that saves their life. For example, like the basic one would be if you are on the artillery fire, you have to lie down and don't move. It could help you survive. But mostly, guys who do not have such an experience, just because of the fear, try to run away. When you're running, you are much higher of the ground, so lots of different parts of those missiles or ammo would hit you. So I had to scream of them, hit them, punch them, like grab their legs just to lay them down, and then that was part of my work.
Vanya, but if we look at this war as you have seen it right now and you have seen the enemy, what is one thing you would like the rest of the world to understand that can only be seen from the inside?
Uh, that was my one of the most like shocked experience, shocking experience. How violent and how cruel are our enemy. When you can see it in the news, somehow you could not even imagine that it could be true. Maybe that's 1% of those Russian guys. Maybe that's like 10%, but not all of them. Oh my God, that's the whole system. Just to understand how it was on the zero line. During the 24 hours, they tried to attack us three, four times. Almost all the 24 hours was with the mortar or artillery attacks, and just a normal noise for you when something is closing somewhere nearby. And once after we hit back on their attack, we got their radio and listening there like almost the whole day till the battery were down. Someone telling in that radio, like, let those one-time usage people go. Tomorrow they will bring us more. Like they're saying about their people, like a paper cups. I saw those people, and those are like not trained. They call it meat. Maybe you heard it as well. Like really, they uh, let them go under their artillery, so they didn't stop work by their artillery. So sometimes they even hit themselves. And the main and the only reason they doing it just to undercover or disclose where are our positions. And that's like the only reason to spend dozens of lives. That's how they actually think about their people. That's only one of the nicest story.
I hear it very, very often when soldiers tell me what's happening, and a lot of them tell me that it really reminds them of zombie just walking on them.
Yes, absolutely. They even do not like focus their weapon in front of us. You know, they are just walking. Yeah, it was on the last day on the zero line. We were rotated, and it looked like our position was too deep. New people came to that position that we were. We had to go back 2 kilometers at least to some kind of village, then wait till the early morning. So our commanders gave us some, gave us actually 2 cars to evacuate 150 people, but not because like they didn't want to give us more, just because they didn't have anything more. So like in a couple of ways, we actually managed to came to some blog post, which was as we were thinking 15 kilometers from the zero line. But we didn't know that one of the UAVs of the enemy saw us at that time, and one super targeted missile income and explode like 10 meters nearby, near me. Thankfully, I was so tired, so I was lying down and couldn't move even before the explosion. But after that, my friend who were also near me told me that I was unconscious for a couple of seconds. But the only thing I remember that I was screaming a lot, hitting my guys a lot, so they do not move because after that missile income started the artillery fire, but the line was moved, but not on the our position, but on the like side one. So it looked like something like this, you know. So we were actually 5 kilometers from zero, from the new zero line. There are lots of explosions from different artillery calibers, and that time I was the head of command. I mean, um actually, in this unit, I was the second person, but our commander was wounded and evacuated. Actually, he was wounded twice, and only after the second hit, he was evacuated. So I had to manage the evacuation of all of my people. There were 70 of my troops, and thankfully, all of them were evacuated safely to the safe position. But it was really messy, like lots of explosions, lots of body parts, because on that block post was more than 100 people. 70 of them are mine. I had to tell them where to move by 5, move by for exact direction, because also the minefields were near the block post. So yeah, that was the that was something I do not want to remember. And you asked me how it changed during all these days, and I will say that like two changes from our side, much more structured logistic, communication, command chain, and much more trained soldiers on our side, because just because of the experience. But on the other side, the Russian side, they got even more human power, manpower. So that's how they are fighting. They're just sending so many troops on the battlefield. You even couldn't imagine what pictures I'm getting from my friends on the ground forces from Bakhmut or from Soledar. There are more dead bodies than the ground I can see on the picture. That's how they are fighting, because before the invasion they had like 150,000 of troops. Currently, they are mobilizing 500,000, and we do not have so many ammos to hit all of them. So yes, that will be the long way.
I just really want everybody who's watching us right now to understand how big is everyday loss and what is actually the price of freedoms that we're paying every day.
Everybody asking me like, what do you feel, and how how will you be changed after the war? The only thing I know that actually what you just asked, the real price of actually these 2 days of off, just sitting in a restaurant and drinking espresso with some donuts, that's actually priceless. And I know it before because I've lost a lot of friends, and even one of my troops, if it would be on the one, it is already too much. But I've lost much more, so I will know the real price of the peaceful life, and that's kind of thing I couldn't share by words.
Ivan, maybe the last question for today. How do you see the future? Do you want to go back to being a founder, building company or where do you see yourself after as the war is won?
Definitely one. You couldn't imagine how I do, because like the most of our soldiers, we want to finish this war, but only in the way of real finish, only in the way of victory. Because if we will do it in some other way, it will just cause the next war, the next invasion. Then we could rebuild our country like from the zero. Because just imagine, lots of people will be demobilized, and they all will know the real price of the freedom and price of the normal war, or of the normal life, like without the war. Lots of people will be back from the Europe and other countries with all those um, European and Western values. And altogether, that means some kind of combination where we could build up something absolutely new, not even new physically country, but also new mentally nation. So I see the future only in the one way. I could not say when exactly it will happen, but definitely will be one of the brightest country you ever seen.